We're back here, Hannibal from thehannibaltv.com with MMA legend Kimo to wrap up our interview. We had a little bit of an issue. We had to take a break. Thanks for all your questions so far. A lot of fans before I did this interview wanted to know if you had any interactions with the Japanese mafia over in Japan because they're known to sponsor fighters and wrestlers over there.
Joe-san, when I first went there, his aunt is from Yokohama. Yokohama is where a lot of the Yakuza is at. Met a few of them. I never was approached by any of them. One thing cool though is Akibono, one of my fights where I fought Severn, Akibono came to that fight afterwards, and me and him hung out. And I never met him before. Hung out with him. It was pretty cool. But as far as like Yakuza, I met a few of them. Couldn't talk to them. I didn't know they didn't know really English that well. So.
And as far as Don Frye, do you have any memories of him as a fighter or seeing him backstage at shows?
Yeah, Don Frye is he's more than just a good, great fighter, man. He's a good guy. He's a man's man. He don't front nothing off. He don't pretend. When he comes to fight, he comes to fight. We're cool with each other. I mean, I've seen him at fights, and we'll hang out. You know, there was a time I almost fought him. I would have fought him. I wouldn't have wanted to, but if I fight somebody, I'm going to go to fight him. I'm going to go all out. You know, I like him though. It's kind of hard to fight somebody you like that. Once I get to know somebody, it's not really the same. That's why I don't train with potential opponents. I don't get to know usually, people. But I got to know Don Frye a little bit. He's a good guy.
There was some fans that wanted to know whatever happened to your fight with Wes Sims.
Ooh, this happened. Broke my nose. Caught me right off the bat. Caught me with a stiff jab. I walked into it. But the part that was crazy about it is like, say a big pit bull is coming at you. You ever seen those pit bulls that even if you had a bat and you hit it with a bat, the bat would bounce off them and they just keep coming? Well, that jab, whatever it caught me, I went right through it. It took him down. I was getting him, I was beating on him. Blood. My blood was pouring like a faucet. They had to stop it, I think, 3 or 4 times. They tried to give it, they gave me a break trying to keep going, but it kept just profusely coming out. He was a blonde when we first fought. He was a redhead at the end of the fight. And because of the injury, the fight didn't go to the cards. He won because it happened like the first or second round. So it sucked, but it was a fight. Things happen.
There's a fan asking if you were ever approached to be an opponent for Kimo Slice.
No, I wish I would have. I would have liked that, but back to Wes Sims. When I fought Tank, we were in the same locker room, me and Wes, and his pops was there, So when I fought him in Hawaii, his pops was there. Me and his pops are cool. So it was kind of strange, but there was a part during that fight where he was scissoring. He was like scissoring my stomach, It hurt a little bit, but if you're fighting, it ain't going to end the fight. And so his dad's yelling. He yelled something to him, and I looked at his dad right during that fight, and I gave him a wink, and then kept fighting. We talked about it after the fight. And it was hilarious.
Jay Warner wants to know the real story about what happened backstage at UFC 3. I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe you do.
So Hoist Gracie got hurt, or not hurt, but I heard he threw in the towel. What? He threw in a towel. I was tired. I probably couldn't have kept fighting if I had to fight another match because I wasn't fresh like the cat who won it. I don't even know his name, and he won the whole thing. But there was nothing really backstage except for Joe-san kind of started causing a little static with Horian, but I wasn't around that. And the reason I ran back into the ring was just to show people that hey, look, I'm not messed up. He's messed up. Who won the fight? I'm from the street where the winner's the one that walks away. So the fact that he was hurt kind of made me happy. So that's why I ran into the ring. It wasn't about bragging. It was about, I was yelling, Jesus, and then got out of the ring.
Now, you've already mentioned you've never been involved in a worked fight. There were some fans that wanted to know if the Sakuraba or Dave Legino fights were worked. You've already answered that. There may have been some Japanese fights not involving you that were, but not in your case.
I can't believe they thought Dave Legino was work. Probably because I lost. But, oh, man, that was a terrible, terrible fight for me. I was slow, sluggish, stale. He caught me with some good ones. I had to tap because I was fighting in Hawaii. Like 3 weeks later, if you get knocked out or TKO'd, I wouldn't be able to fight in Hawaii. And my amount of money in Hawaii was 3 times of what I was making in England. So it wasn't a work. It was just a very bad performance by me. In Japan, the only thing that, I would call work was a New Japan Pro Wrestling. But with that name on it, New Japan Pro Wrestling, I don't have to say it's a work. It's kind of like self-explanatory. As far as any other fight, no works. No pretending, no selling it, no making it last longer. There's a few fights that the promoter in Japan would come out to me. Sakuraba was one. He goes, hey, Kimo, don't finish him so quick. Make it last a little bit. And if I was to listen to that, man, Sakuraba would have got me because he was good, So, and like I said about works, if there's a rope escape, that's a work. If you see something that's cheesy, like a head move and a punch miss, it's a work. You can feel it in your being if you're really paying attention to something, if it's a work or not. And I've been offered works. I've been offered $100,000 one fight work to lose. I wouldn't do that. When I signed my New Japan Pro Wrestling 10 fight deal, I said, I'm only going to lose twice out of these 10 fights. So, yeah, that's how it went for me.
And there's another fan question on here that they wanted to know about that there was no testing over in Japan. Did that ever concern you that there was no drug testing, that you could go in there with somebody that could be on anything like adrenaline or crazy stuff?
When I fought, all the way until I fought Gracie in Puerto Rico that first time, I was clean, meaning I was on no juice. I didn't care about even testing out, whatever. I didn't even really think about those things until I fought Ken that first time. He was 225. I was 275 natural. I ate a lot of food, but he was the strongest, the hardest. He looked like a bodybuilder. Just like, I kind of got a little bit where I started juicing after that. I started messing around with juice. Like I said, my career went my walk with the Lord went a certain way. It wasn't exactly walking straight. That's why I didn't carry, crosses in the ring after a while and stuff like that. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm straight up, So yeah, I wasn't really worried about anybody else using juice because the truth is steroids don't help your performance in fighting. They take away from it. They help you in football because you got a 3 or 4 second burst, then you got about a 20-second rest. In that kind of situation, it would help. In a fighting, your muscle will blow up, get heavy, you'll get slow. It's not good for your cardio, So juicing is not really good for fighting. It's good for looking good. That's about it.
So would you take the stuff that wouldn't affect your cardio as much as possible when you were doing it?
I mean, you try to. There's stuff out there like, Winstrol. There's a thing called Parabolin back in the day. If I could get my hand on that stuff, which I did a couple of times, yeah, I would take it. It's more mental health than it is anything else. Then for fighting, like I said, it's more mental than anything else. And another thing is when I fought Boss Rutten, I went to Brazil to train for it. And they said I tested positive for Winstrol, which is not, Winstrol stays in your system for 3 days. I was in Brazil for over 2 months. And so you know. Oh, and I tested positive when I fought. I lost to Shamrock in the UFC. I got fined for that. I lost and I got fined. So I started thinking about tests when I was taking it. But before then, I wasn't thinking about it. And as far as advantage, it didn't matter. The only one I saw that maybe was Mark Kerr, but I think he's more a lot of natural muscle, and he knows how to use it. Maybe his style of fighting. Other than that, nah.
What do you think about The Rock playing Mark Kerr in that upcoming Hollywood movie about his life?
Wow, that's the first time I'm hearing it. Look at what it did to my face. Put a smile on his mug. Right on for both of them. Right on for Rock. Rock's getting a lot of work. He's a great actor. I mean, look at him from football at Miami, WWE, WWF. Smell what The Rock is cooking. To movies, and he's awesome at it. He's not just good; he's awesome. He's a very talented guy. Mark should be stoked at The Rock. I mean, look the way Rock looks. They had to get somebody to play Mark Kerr. They had to get The Rock. That's a compliment, man.
As far as fight tips for MMA fighters or kickboxers or even boxers that might be watching this, do you have any tips for up and coming fighters?
Yeah, not so much because, like I said, fighting before and fighting now is a little bit not the same to me. But I still have the memory. I still know what it takes. I still know what it's about. So the main thing is you got to have a belief in yourself, a belief in who is training you, and your whole surroundings, because that's everything that you live in your life while you're training, getting ready for fighting, is going to go in the ring with you. I'm talking about extracurricular activities as well. It could be, it might not even be something negative like partying. It could be just staying awake and joking around with your friends and not being focused. So everything you do is a commitment. You got to be willing to, it's not just a fight, it's a lifestyle. It's everything that's going to be about you. You got to be willing to take that commitment and not let, the hard part is not letting no outside factors break your belief. You got to believe in it, hold on to that belief, because you're the one going to pull it through. You're going to get help with your coaches and the people that, the right people around you. So you're not going to do it alone, but when you go in that cage, you're alone. So it's your will. It's your belief in yourself. It's when there's times that you'll be down, not giving up. All of that's going to be if you paid for what it cost. Did you pay for this fight? Did you do the right things? Did you stick to your commitment? We make mistakes, but overall, did you do what you needed to be done to get in there? That's going to be commitment. You got to have that commitment.
What have you been doing with yourself after your fight career? I'm going to guess you went into another business. I know you're involved with religion heavily still.
I'm still believing Jesus Christ. Religion, I don't believe in the word religion. Religion is ceremonies. It's like repetitions. It's memorizing. That's religion to me. A relationship with Jesus is like you're talking to him. He's there. He's alive. He did things for you. Church is where you're at, where two or more are gathered. There he is in your presence. So church is not a building. I don't believe in. I mean, like hospital, you get in the building to get together and strengthen each other up. But my walk with the Lord is personal. So it's not like somebody can say anything about my life, good or bad, because I live my choices that I make, and I don't hide from my mistakes or from my accomplishments. And what have I been up to? I bought me a bike. I've been cruising around, doing little trips here and there, going on a little traveling, meeting people, and tasting some of life's, different flavors, and learning things from other people, because everyone's got something that you can learn from. So I've been doing stuff like that. I've been still staying in shape. I've been doing for money. I've been doing the stocks. I've been investing. Killing with this light. I've been investing in stocks. So I've been trading, day trading, swing trading. So I've been getting to a little bit about do stocks. You got no politics, rumors about the business itself. You got to do a lot of research. So it's in one way, it's I like to learn. So I learn things and I get to actually put it into practice. And my shows, if I'm making money or not. If I'm making money, I'm doing the right things. If I'm not, then I'm not. And so far, I've been doing it for about, I don't know, about 2 years, and I'm surviving off of it. More than surviving, bro. I'm having fun.
Since this YouTube channel is mainly a wrestling YouTube channel, there's a lot of fans on here wondering if you would ever consider doing anything in wrestling again.
I would consider showing up to an event and waving, maybe just be a guest appearance. As far as getting into the cage and moving around or grabbing somebody, those days I'm done with those days. Even pretending, I'm not even going to do that. Somebody gets in my face and I have to protect myself. Somebody I love is threatened. Kimo's there. But other than that, I'm a spectator. I enjoy it, and I don't have no voids that I have to fill with my ego by having to go pump myself up, feeling better about something. So I'm okay with everything. I don't have no desire to go back into that world.
And you're living in California right now, for those that aren't aware. How long have you been there for?
I've been here for, 20-something years. I moved to Newport Beach when I first got here, the women, the girls, and I loved it, stayed, and did some things that, working for drug dealers and stuff, working at clubs, but that's when I found the Lord. And so everything that's part of me is, it's all good. It's all good.
There's a fan on here that tipped $5 and wanted to just say that you bring entertainment stuff like the cross bearing to UFC and made it more fun and entertaining to watch. He says you're a tough guy that nobody should ever take lightly.
Hearing stuff like that, I want to cry because it touches me, that somebody's so cool that they take their time out to not only give money, which is like a wow to me, but to like that comment right there. I'm kind of a sentimental guy. I'm a heart guy, That's the kind of stuff that I used to feed on to give me strength when I needed strength. And that the fact that it's still out there, it humbles me, man. It feels good, but it's more than feels good because I'm not doing anything to keep that going or to bring that up, but they remember because it was like I've given part of myself to that sport. And to be still remembered like that is why we say no ka'oi. Number one, it's awesome, brothers. To all you brothers who threw down cash, mahalo. Thank you for everything.
Just a few more questions here. A bunch of people in both of our streams have wanted to ask you about CM Punk, who didn't fare too well in MMA. What are your thoughts on him?
Poor guy. Out of all the wrestlers, I met a few of them. A couple of them I wanted to scrap because they were disrespectful. He's a nice guy, cool guy. I've been hanging out the Rainbow a little bit when it was before this coronavirus stuff. So I met him. He's friends with my friend, so we hung out, and there's no ego, there's no static, there's no. We get along well. He's a good guy. He just had bad publicity that went sour for him, unfortunately.
At least he made, I think, $1 million one of his fights and 500 plus bonuses for the other. So he made good paydays despite the losses.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you've been following this, but Sean Wood has a question for you. The Pentagon and the U.S. Navy has recently come out with some UFO videos. The government is now admitting there in the U.S. that there could be some UFOs in the sky that they don't know what they are. What are your thoughts on that? Have you been following it at all?
Doing the market, I follow news, I follow rumors, like I said, all those things. But I don't know, following it to me means investigating, researching it. So a lot of factors affect the market. That's one of them, believe it or not. The government is, the more I've been reading things and getting some like people who had experiences that were, they firsthand experiences, has been like, why is it that we got to question our country? Not his question, but everyone. Why is it? Because there's things about our that happen that I question. I shouldn't right off the bat be defensive on something when it's just something that came up. But because of our government doing stuff like giving the Indians the blankets with smallpox, that's not cool. Hawaiians got their land taken away. So there's things our government did in the past that's not cool. And to me, the government's got worse because our morals, our standards, our beliefs, we've compromised along the way. So maybe you don't see it, but when we get to this part of it, we've compromised so much that we don't realize that we're a little bit tainted. So even being a little tainted, it's still a lot of stuff the government. I don't believe a lot of them. I believe some of it. The UFO thing, it fits a story they could use. They could use that to, if something happens someday or whatever, because of UFOs, this or that. And technology is getting to the point now that they can make fraudulent imitation, images. They can do all kind of stuff. But yet there's no real clear, if they believe in it, where's the clear proof, the scientific proof, the actual proof, not the blurry picture, not the bleeps on this little thing or whatever. Where's the proof? Prove it. Scientific method, hypothesis, and test it. And then how the test comes out, you got to prove it nowadays. They got to prove stuff to make me believe, because I'm so doubtful of them.
Destroyer of Heroes is asking if you ever met any celebrities that were real jerks.
For some reason, I get people's best behavior when I meet them on the street. Not that I'm tough or I'm bad or anything. I mean, maybe the image there's such an image in their head that I even met Tyson. Tyson's cool as hell. He's a cool dude, smart dude too. He learned a lot. And you can tell by the way he talks now and by the way his mind works that everything has worked its way through him. Any assholes that I've met? Yeah. Yes, one. Triple H. I didn't really meet him. In fact, two, since you guys are wrestling. One is Diamond Dallas Page. I'll tell you this one first. I was at the wrestling in San Diego, the one Dennis Rodman fought, Rumble on the Beach or something. Backstage, kicking it. Lex Luger walks by me like this. I'm kicking it with a couple of Japanese media, and I know that if I act a certain way, any aggressive way, I won't be able to wrestle, because if this guy can't handle this, how's he going to do a work and sell the work if he gets mad at stuff? So I couldn't get mad, but Diamond Dallas Page walks up to me. He looks at me and he goes, "Nice tank top." Like he punked me and then walked away. I had to take it. But one day, what goes around comes around. I was in the Vegas Gold's Gym. Who walks in? Diamond Dallas Page, bro. He walks straight to the treadmill, and I'm doing curls in the mirror, and I see him on a treadmill, and my heart's starting to bump, and I'm going, "What you gonna do, Kimo? What you gonna do? You can't do nothing, because you're gonna have to live with this voice your whole days." So I walk up to the treadmill, screw it, and I stand right in front of it, and I'm looking at him, and he ain't looking, but I stand there long enough, bro. He's got to look at me, so he looks at me, and kind of smiles like a goofball, and does one of these like, "What's up?" And then I think he did say, "What's up?" And I go, "You don't remember me, bro?" He looked at me. I go, "You don't remember me?" He goes, "Yeah, Kimo, UFC fighter, right?" I go, "No, nice tank top." And he started talking that language that I don't know, kind of like that light. I don't know this language, that's what I thought, bro. I walked away. I was good with that. Now Triple H was with China, Gold's Venice Beach. And I would train at Gold's in Venice because there's such energy there. The Hulk worked out there, James Caan, all these old school bodybuilders. It was a great gym. So Triple H walks in there and he thinks he's all that. I'm not into fighting. I'm not a punk. But when somebody's like walks by me all cocky, a couple of times, I'm gonna say something. So I was kicking it, and he walks in. He passed. He's just about to pass by me, and I was kind of being a punk that day. I go, "You know what, bro? One of these days, I'm gonna just knock out one of these wrestlers, bro, just because they think something that they don't know." He went to that part of the gym, he turned around, and he split. I ain't seen him since then. I would apologize if I did, because I wasn't that cool. It was fun though.
It's funny because another friend of Rick Bassman's, Evan Marriott, the guy that played Joe Millionaire, also had a bad experience with Diamond Dallas Page. So you're not the only one.
Right on. See, that's why your reputation or your things you've done in the past comes with you, and that's cool. That means I wasn't in the wrong. I was catching the right vibe.
Ryan Butler tipped $5 and he says, "You are humble and honest, a true role model."
Make me cry again right there, bro.
And he's tipped actually another $5 with a question this time. The same guy. So he's tipped you a total of 10. He says, who is your favorite either wrestler or MMA fighter of all time?
Igor Vovchin, fighter. That word fighter is what he is. He ain't no, he's a professional, but he's kept that. He has that raw. He had that raw when he was fighting. It was just beautiful to see that violence in that sport. Not anger, not violence in the sense of killing somebody, but that violence that you could feel in the air, that you don't turn away from this fight. Something's going to happen. You don't want to miss it. So he was probably my favorite fighter of all time. And then what was the other question?
It was what's your favorite wrestler or fighter? So it was kind of both. Okay. But if maybe you have a favorite pro wrestler, I don't know.
My favorite wrestler is Snyder's cool.
Page, right?
Yeah, if we got to do the dance, though, is wow. This is the sad part is I can't even really say his name. He's one of those wrestlers that does so many different things, but like once you're cast, like Rock was the Rock, he couldn't play nobody else. Dang, his name is in the back right. He played like he had the sock, and he was talking with the sock all the time.
Mick Foley, Mankind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he played a lot of different other characters too. He was versatile, and he wasn't like huge, so he didn't have that physique to awe people. He had to awe them with his unique way of thinking. Yeah, he was good. He was awesome. I met him and kicked it with him. We got along well. That guy was awesome.
I know you have Facebook for social media. Where can the fans contact you or follow you if they want to find you on social media?
I do Facebook. I don't really do that Instagram. I don't do any of those other things. So they'll have to contact me on Facebook. It's just they might have to contact me a few times because and maybe catch my attention with something. I'm humble, yes, and there's certain things. If you come with me honestly with something that's right on, maybe you have to hit me with twice. Hey, I did this. You said this or whatever, and then they got me. If they get me like as far as to respond, then they got something. So sometimes it might be twice because I do look into like other texts and stuff I get from that aren't friends or whatever, those kind of things. And I get back to people on that one. They might have to get a hold of me twice, because sometimes it's twice, but I'll get back to them on that. And that's about it right there.
Sean Wood has an interesting question. You mentioned earlier that you met Chris Benoit over in Japan as a religious person, which you don't want to be described as, but as someone that has a connection with the Lord. What do you think about that travesty that happened with Chris Benoit?
I thought that was a tragedy, because when I met him, he was solid. He was humble. He had a sick physique. He was making money, so he didn't have to be humble. Even to me, he was humble. Just my partner talked to him. They're about the same height, which is like 5'10". For a wrestler, is not the biggest guy, and he's out there wrestling with these giants, and he was cool as hell. What happened was, like, they blamed it on steroids. They said he got a rage, or but unless you walk in the mile in somebody's shoes, you can't really say anything, except other than that it sucks, because he was a good guy, and whatever happened wasn't even him. I could say that because things happen, man. Look at Joe San. The only difference is Joe San was static. Every once in a while, there'd be some static that would make you kind of go, what was that about? But Benoit was just a gentleman, solid, good guy. And who knows what the news was or whatever happened. But we're human. Not only can we make mistakes, we can get tricked. We can see things wrong. There's a lot of ways that, our brains can, so I can't, all I say is it's tragedy of what happened. It's sad. I mean, it's really sad because other people got messed up from it. And how you go out kind of is like the final story of the final highlight of your life. So he kind of went out that way, which it's too bad because he's not like that, but he did that. So
Vietas is asking about the neck bite.
Neck bite.
Were you bit in the neck at some point in one of your fights?
No, I was pinched and left bruises. I've been hitting ribs on the ground, but no one bit me. Because then I would lose it, and I would have poked somebody's eye. If they'd bite me, hook eye would come out.
There's a few fans on here. I mean, we're based in Canada where weed is legal. There's a lot of MMA fighters using THC and CBD for concussion symptoms. What are your views on pot?
I think pot this is gonna sound like I'm it's gonna sound like I don't know who cares what it sounds like. I don't see it as wrong. I see it as I don't see it as negative. I see it as only positive, especially because it's legal. When it was illegal, that's the only negative, because you got to break the law to do it. As far as what it does to you, shoot, you're stoned, you drive better, you drive slower, you don't go speeding and reckless. You're angry, there's weed that calms you down. You can't sleep, it has weed that helps you sleep. CBD for people who don't even want the effects of the mental effect of it, they just want the pain reliever. So I see it as positive. I don't see it as negative. Some people who are religious, I'm sure they're going to have their opinions, but nothing on me other than it was illegal. Now it's legal. That was the only thing about it that was like, I'm from Hawaii, man. People had plants every other yard was plants in Hawaii. It was a lifestyle. So.
Speaking of Hawaii, DG wants to know if there's any other Hawaiian fighters you're impressed by.
Holloway, BJ Penn. Sucks because I don't remember names. But when they say they're from Hawaii, oh, my phone's going to die. When they say they're from Hawaii, there's already there's an island thing that we all connect because we all grew up in islands, and there's a, like I said, respect is part of the lifestyle. How to act, know how to act right. So if they got the pride or balls or heart to say they're from Hawaii, oh, I love them already.
I know your phone's going to die. I just want to point out you got another $5 tip from Long Duck Dong, and he says this interview is platinum. Thank you for doing this interview, part 1 and part 2.
Right on, brother. Thank you, because I don't watch any of the films I've done because I'm so like hard on myself. I don't look at my pictures I take, so it's like I don't know how I'm doing. So those little things you guys say are big things to me, man. Thank you.
And since your phone is going to die, thank you very much for giving us tons of your time. And to wrap this up, I'll just let you say whatever you want to the fans, but it's been an honor talking to you. I was a fan of the original UFC, and you were one of the pioneers that helped pave the way. So thank you for giving your body to that sport for us fans.
Right on. There's the things that you do in life that you don't, you just do for your heart, because I fought and people approach me like how you have, and because you're an all right guy and like you fair with the way you questions and things like that I'll give my time. But I get so rewarded, like today I got so rewarded by these comments and the fact that people are putting, money is not money to me. Money is your work, it's your time. You get paid for time. Time you don't get back. It's the one thing we don't get back. So all those, it's like iron. They're the iron sharpening me, like iron sharpens iron. All those things sharpened me today and just more than lifted me, man. It was all good, man. It was really good. Thank you, everybody.